Good evening, welcome to ITV News Meridian. Tonight's headlines in the south. What Katie did clearing up and counting the cost as the region takes a battering from the latest Atlantic storm. Enough's enough, why former boxing champion Chris Eubank pleaded with his son for a title fight to be stopped. And making a name for themselves, how these artists are splashing out and catching the eye of big business. Good evening. Thousands of homes without power, travel on land, sea and air badly disrupted, property damaged. Severe storm Katie took a heavy toll as it tore across the region. Wind speeds of more than 100 miles an hour were reported along the south coast. Today, people have been clearing up and counting the cost of Katie. Mary Stanley reports.
This was the dramatic scene in Woodley Precinct near Reading, after scaffolding 5 stories high crashed to the ground in Storm Katie. The plastic sheeting acting like a sail in the wind to bring the huge structure down. On a normal Monday, this area would have been busy with people heading to work or grabbing a quick coffee. But at 7:30 this morning, it was empty, so miraculously, no one was hurt.
It looked as if a bomb had gone off. It was really scary, but thank God it wasn't. And thank God nobody was hurt. That was the important thing.
I was shocked. It's my home as well. It's like my front door, because obviously I'm up there. So when I saw it, I'm down there every day.
I can't believe it happened. I believe 7 o'clock this morning, something like that, and good job it did. Because otherwise this is packed, and someone could have got, seriously injured.
Homeowners have also been left clearing up the damage. The side wall and chimney of this house in Portsmouth reduced to a pile of rubble. Travellers have been badly affected, with fallen trees blocking many major routes. 60 flights were cancelled at Heathrow and a further 20 at Gatwick. Rail and ferry services have also been disrupted.
We certainly saw some very significant gusts around the south coast. The Needles easily topping the table, a maximum gust of 106 miles per hour, but even inland gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour for many. Thankfully, most of the action happened overnight. Given that it's Easter bank holiday weekend, it could have been a lot more disruptive and potentially a lot more dangerous.
Volunteers at Selsey Lifeboat continued to answer emergency calls despite damage to their own boathouse. In Hove, these beach huts took a battering. Sussex Police received some 600 weather-related calls, mainly about fallen trees.
It was some very high gusts last night and sort of right through to the early hours. I mean, it's still fairly breezy, but the tree's about 120 years old, thereabouts, an English elm, and yeah, it's a very sad loss.
No area escaped the storm, from Wimborne to Winchester, and across the region more than 40,000 homes were left without electricity. The wind and the rain are expected to ease over the next few hours, but the damage left by Storm Katie is going to take many weeks to repair. Mary Stanley, ITV News.
There's plenty more on the storm on our website. Scan the code on the screen to be taken straight there. Alternatively, just go to itv.com/Meridian. And of course, we'll have the latest weather forecast with Philippa Drew a little later in the programme. The debate about the safety of boxing is underway again today after a bout involving Brighton fighter Chris Eubank Jr. His opponent Nick Blackwell from Wiltshire is in an induced coma after suffering a bleed to his brain. It's said Eubank's father, a boxing world champion, called for the fight to be stopped. Richard Jones reports.
The end of the fight, and boxer Nick Blackwell is taken out of the arena on a stretcher.
He has been receiving oxygen from the paramedics in the ring.
And it's over! The bout was finally ended in the 10th of 12 rounds on the advice of a ringside doctor. Blackwell stayed on his feet, but could barely see through his left eye. Moments later, he collapsed. Earlier in the fight, Chris Eubank Sr. had climbed into the ring, seemingly aware of the damage being done.
And you keep on beating him like this. 1, he's getting hurt. 2, if it goes to a decision, why hasn't the referee stopped the fight? I don't get why. So maybe you shouldn't leave it to the referee.
It's no surprise the older Eubank knows the dangers. 25 years ago, he fought boxer Michael Watson, who was left in a coma for 40 days. and has been severely disabled ever since. Following the injury to Nick Blackwell, the brain injury charity Headway renewed its call for boxing to be banned.
It's an inherently dangerous sport. If you try to set about a sport where the ultimate objective is to render your opponent senseless by repeated blows to the head, then you shouldn't be surprised if people sustain serious head injuries as a consequence of boxing.
Today, the British Boxing Board of Control backed the actions of the referee and said of Nick Blackwell's condition, he was put in a coma to let the swelling to his brain go down. There's no time scale, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. Nick Blackwell received supportive messages from many in the boxing world, including his opponent Chris Eubank Jr., who said on social media that he believes he will pull through. Richard Jones, ITV News.
A major search has been going on for a man whose kayak overturned on the River Wey in Guildford. Emergency crews were alerted after passers-by noticed the man in difficulty in the strong current. A man who died in a collision near Littlehampton on Good Friday has been named. Michael Smith, who was 64 and from Warning Camp, was found lying on Lyminster Road at Wick with serious head injuries. He died before reaching hospital. The incident has been referred to the Independent Police Complaints Commission. Police have shut down a number of cash point machines in Eastleigh following reports they may have been targeted by thieves. Officers say anyone who may have lost money should contact them. 2 men have been questioned and bailed until May. Oxford has retained its title as the least affordable place to live in Britain. A new survey by Lloyds Bank reveals the average price of a property is more than £360,000, or 10.5 times the average local salary. Winchester came a close second. A rare pine marten has been spotted in the New Forest, confirming suspicions that the animals have made a new home there. This one was filmed at a secret location by members of an organisation called the Wild New Forest Initiative. You're watching ITV News, still to come in tonight's programme. We'll be talking to the duo who hope fulfilling their long-held Olympic dream will be plain sailing. The work created by a group of artists in Surrey is catching the eye of consumers around the world. At Art House Meath in Godalming, dozens of men and women living with disabilities create designs which are then printed onto a range of products. It's one of the most successful enterprises of its kind in the country, as Emma Wilkinson explains.
That way round.
This group of artists are working on their latest masterpiece. Alongside an instructor, they create artworks which are then developed into products for sale. Clothes, kitchenware, cards are flying off the shelves.
What have you found?
And not just in their high street shop. Their products are being sold by other charities, major high street brands, and they're getting more and more interest from abroad.
It's hugely rewarding for the artists who are living with complex epilepsy, learning and physical difficulties.
I just can't put it in words. Sometimes the words don't come out very well to me, but drawing it builds you up. And sometimes it builds you like a tough guy.
And Peter isn't alone in feeling that way. Many of the artists that attend classes here live with a constant fear of having a seizure or becoming unwell. Art is very often therapeutic for them, but it also gives them a sense of purpose.
Unfortunately, many people have been told not to have much expectations for themselves. So changing their own minds and realising that they can contribute and they can be part of a business and seeing it sell, seeing that there's true financial value attached to their skills and that they really are contributing.
Becky says the artwork these men and women produce is what every artist strives for, pure, honest mark making.
And then should we get the card to go with it as well?
All the money raised goes back into sustaining the project, but it's hoped continued success will allow it to expand and create more opportunities in more communities. Emma Wilkinson, ITV News, Godalming.
On to sport now, and just a couple of football results for you. In League One, Swindon took a hammering and beaten 6-0 at Scunthorpe. In League Two, Portsmouth's match against Wimbledon was abandoned because of a waterlogged pitch. Promotion candidates Oxford drew 0-0 against Cambridge. Sailing, and after trying for 10 years, Weymouth duo Dylan Fletcher and Alan Syne still don't know if they're going to the Olympics. Team GB is all but complete, apart from the 49er class. A good result in this week's regatta in Palma, Mallorca would help, as Sally Simmons reports.
ITV Meridian Sports Report, sponsored by WeWantAnyCar.com, the Cash for Cars website.
There's still a chilly wind in March in Mallorca, but the tension is hotting up as the Princess Sophia Regatta gets underway. It's Olympic year, so 750 competitors from 70 nations are here to prove they have the talent it takes to represent their country at the Olympics. 8 of the 10 sailing classes have been selected in Team GB, but Dylan Fletcher and Alan Syne are still waiting, hoping to book their ticket to Rio in August in the 49er class.
The selectors haven't felt as though there's a clear dominant team within the British 49er class yet, so they've obviously chose to continue selection on.
How frustrating is that?
Pretty frustrating, just because the rest of the team have all been selected.
The pair have been campaigning together for 10 years. They just missed out on selection for London and couldn't be more determined to get to Rio.
Fletcher and Syne were neck and neck with rivals John Pink and Stuart Bithell. But in February this year, they clinched bronze in the World Championships in Clearwater in Florida. They're hoping that's tipped the balance in a boat that requires a lot of it.
Yeah, we've capsized quite a lot of times over the years. We try to not capsize too often when we're racing, but they're not too bad. They're not as bad as they were a few years ago. We've all got a little better.
It's been a long few years. We know each other inside out.
It could be another 3 months before the pair find out if they are selected. But after 10 years, they're going to give it all they've got and hope the long road stretches just that little bit longer. Sally Simmons, ITV News, Mallorca.
Finally, spring has been celebrated at Sparsholt College near Winchester with a weekend of Easter-themed activities. Children and adults got to meet the Easter Bunny and to see newly hatched chicks. Some visitors were familiar with rabbits and guinea pigs as pets, but for others it was a chance to find out more about them.
A lot of the children here haven't had any interaction with small mammals, so the opportunity is for them to handle, stroke the animals, get to see them and actually learn a little bit about their husbandry. Before jumping into that decision of having one as a pet, they get to see what their poo looks like, what the animals actually need to eat.
Just the sort of information you need. Well, the weather's been the big talking point of the day. What does it have in store for us tomorrow? Here's Philippa Drew.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello there. Well, after a fairly wet and windy night last night, tonight is looking a lot quieter, and in fact it's the same for the next few days. A mixture of sunny spells, scattered showers and considerably lighter winds on the cards. So for tonight, still breezy but nowhere near as windy as last night. Clear spells and scattered showers, and under the clear spells a fairly cool night on the cards. So tomorrow morning, that's really how things start. Fairly cool but some good sunny spells around, a scattering of showers. During the afternoon, a band of more organised showers sweeping its way eastwards, potentially some heavy downpours, locally even thundery. Still breezy, but out of the breeze, feeling fairly pleasant, highs into double figures. Bye-bye.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, that's just about it for us for now. In just a moment, the ITV evening news, but from the weekend team here at ITV Meridian, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye.